Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and today is Casing Tuesday. And if you have no idea what that is, it's the day when we take a card out of the Stampin' Up catalog and we give it a makeover. And we have a Facebook group for that you are welcome to join. And the link for that is down below in the description of this video. So I always do a live on the card that I give a makeover to, and that's the purpose of today. And I do it live so that if you want to join in and join me and ask questions, I hope you'll do that. If you're watching the replay, please go ahead and ask a question anyway, and I'll see if I can get to it later. So today's card is it's a great card. I love it. I've already seen people on our Facebook group posting their cards, and they really like the sketch today. And I like it because there is different ways that you can approach this particular sketch. And I did a version today where I actually used paper instead of actually stamping panels. But I made two cards, so I'm going to show you my other card. I made a backup card to kind of give you an idea of what else you can do with that. So anyway, so I'll show you today's card, and that is right here. This is today's card, and so it has these three panels, and you can tell right away that the artists who stamped this card, they took the art, or they stamped a piece and then they cut it apart, because you can see the lines right here on the where it's cut apart, they all match up. So that kind of, because they've done that, that makes me want to do something similar. So instead of using a stamped piece, I actually use designer series paper. So that's kind of the fun way you can stamp a piece. You can use designer series paper. You can cut it up so the panels match, or you can have mismatched panels too. So there's a lot of ways that you can approach this sketch. If you have no idea what measurements to use, we also have a sketch for that, so that you can have a somewhat an idea of how the panels will be. Now, I changed my panels around just a wee bit, so you don't have to like go by the measurements exactly, but it's kind of meant as a guide. And then of course we let you know what page of the catalog and which catalog it's on. So if you want to refer to your actual catalog, you can do that. So I hope you will join in and post your own card on our Facebook group. All you have to do, if you're not already a member, is ask to join, and then usually we have a wonderful moderator who brings in our new members each week, and I think she goes in at least once or twice a week and welcomes the new members. We're getting close to 4,000 members in our group. Last week we did a card shower for one person. We were on number 300. So yesterday I announced who won that card shower on the group, and it was kind of fun to do something fun for number 300. We had over 600 comments or photos posted. Not all of them were cards posted, but the participation, we had 600 individual entries to that post. So I thought that was really awesome to celebrate number 300. So if you did that, if you posted a comment or a card of your own, thank you so much for joining in last week. That was really fun to have so much participation on that thread. And I hope we can continue that participation level, because it's always really fun to see everything that people are posting, because this is not just about me and my card. It's about what everyone else is doing and how we can inspire each other through that. So let me switch my camera. I think I've got it going, and I'll show you my card. All right, so this is my card today. Look at that gorgeous designer series paper. So you can stamp a panel and cut it apart, but I just took some of this gorgeous fine art floral paper and cut it apart into 3 panels. So I'm going to show you, this is the card that I did for my blog, but I'm going to show you another card. I want to show you how you can, take the same paper and use a different color scheme, so it kind of will give you an idea of how you could do it a little differently. So the art gallery stamp set also has a die set that goes with it. I did not use the die set today because I actually went ahead. Probably could have used the die set for my little greeting here. I didn't even think about that. But my original card, I stamped it and I used a punch for the greeting. So I just kind of continued that over. But this is the art gallery stamp set. And you can, right now, you can get the die set if you bundle the 2 together. You save 10% over buying them individually. Thought I'd just point that out. And then this is the gorgeous paper, and I probably should have put it on a nice sheet to show you all the different patterns. But these have beautiful floral patterns on one side and neutral patterns on the other side. So just really look at these gorgeous, look at this gorgeous floral. This is the one we're going to be using today. And so you can use any of the patterns. The floral patterns would look really gorgeous on this card. Or if you want like a more neutral look, you could also use the neutral side and create a more non-floral type card. So I love that paper, and that paper will only be available until June because it is retiring with the catalog. While the art gallery stamp set and die set are carrying over, the paper will not be. So if you like this paper, it matches the stamp set and die set or the bundle, but it is not carrying over. So I want to show you, before I get into stamping, I want to show you another card that I made. And I have been using the Hippo Happiness bundle because I'm going to be making another box for you on Friday using that die set. So I had it sitting out and I thought, hey, let me just go ahead and stamp a card with that. So I used the little butterfly from that bundle and I stamped a piece of paper and then I cut it apart. So you can definitely just do the same type of thing with a stamped panel. And the greeting on the original card was stamped on one of these panels. But if you don't have a tall, skinny greeting, you can always just add a little label on there like I did. So, you can get really different looks with these cards, right? You can get like a very elegant look, and then you can get also like a really fun, loving look. So it's really cool to see all the different variations you can get with this particular layout. All right, so I'm going to show you today a slightly different version of this card because we're going to use different paper. So let's start out, we'll start off with our paper panel. And so what I did is I cut a piece of paper to 3 3/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. This paper it's not flimsy. It's not quite as thin as computer paper, but it also isn't super thick. So as I'm putting these panels up on here on this cardstock piece, I didn't want them to feel flimsy or too bendy. I wanted them not to bend over if I mailed the card. So what I decided to do was to take a piece of the thick basic white cardstock and back this piece up so that when I went to go cut it, it would have a little bit more substance to it. So I'm just going to adhere a panel to the back. And so this was 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. I cut this 1/16 of an inch shorter on both sides. So if you put it on here, there should be, if you center it perfectly, there'll be like a little tiny rim all the way around. But that's, if you don't get it centered 100%, you have a little bit of wiggle room. If I had cut it exactly to size, I think I would have found that one of the edges might have hung off. So I just made it a little bit shorter than my paper piece. And I'm just going to add Tombow to this. And then I will center this on here. And press it down. And now, you know, there's just a little tiny bit of an edge that isn't supported, but basically the whole thing feels much, much more supported. And then I can bring in my trimmer and I'm going to cut these panels. The 3 3/4 inch side needs to be up at the top because we're cutting them into 1 1/4 inch panels. So I'm just going to use my paper trimmer. Okay. And then we'll put this on the 1 1/4 inch mark. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that they were actually on the 1 1/4 inch mark. Okay, and then cut down. All right. So if you're doing this, just make sure you keep your panels all going. Don't mix them up, because the nice thing when you do the paper, you kind of want it to match back up a little bit and just have the gap in between here, so you don't want to mix up the order of the panels. All right, so now we're going to need a card base, and I'm just using basic white thick cardstock, and I start off with a piece that's 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and I score it in half at the 4 1/4 inch mark. And I will take my bone folder and just smooth down that fold so it lays flat. Then I thought Pool Party would make a nice backdrop piece. So this piece is 5 inches by 2 3/8 inches. And I'm just gonna add some Tombow to this piece. And this one's pretty easy to center. I find sometimes if I stand up that it is easier to center. So I'm centering it side to side, top to bottom. All right, and then I want to shift it a little bit. It's a little bit towards one side rather than the other. Oh well, it's down there for the count now. I'll have to leave it as is. I won't be able to see that once I get the ribbon on. So this is Pool Party sheer ribbon. I like to match my ribbon to my back panel. And if you don't have matching ribbon, I suggest getting a white ribbon like our crinkled white seam binding. This one right here. I love this ribbon. And color it with your Stampin' Blends to whatever color that you need for this background panel. Not that you have to do it this way, but this is my this is how I designed my card. If you want to do it my way with the other colors of paper, I just pick a color out of this paper, whatever paper you're using, and I need my little locking tweezers. Okay, so now I'm going to do the first knot, and I'm just going to bring it right to the edge, and then I'm going to clamp down, and then I'll just cut off a little bit, and then trying to decide which way are we going to go. I'm going to go this way, and then tie the knot, unclamp. Make sure, I should have checked this beforehand, but make sure it lays flat on the inside. All right. And then you want to arrange this how you want it, because once I glue the panels down, you won't be able to shift the ribbon. So then I want to make sure I get these panels centered, because if they're not centered, then it's going to look off in the end. So what I'm going to do is I have a centering ruler, and with a centering ruler, you'll make sure that the 2 3/4 inch mark on a 5.5 inch piece here, you want the same measurement here and the same measurement here. So I've got 2 3/4 here and 2 3/4 here, and my 0 mark is right here in the center. So I'll make myself a little mark right here. If you don't have a centering ruler, don't worry. This ruler right here actually does have the regular measurements down here. So what you can do then is just measure over 2 3/4 inches from the side. This is with a regular ruler. Just go ahead and measure 2 3/4 inches, and that's the center point right here. But you can also use your centering ruler if you want to, if you have one. I find it a good thing to have in my craft arsenal. So I'm going to take the center panel and I'll put a bit of Tombow. See, we won't have to go all the way to the top because it's going to hang off. So I'll put a little bit here and a little bit here. And then I'm going to use that centering mark. I'll center it first of all top to bottom on here, and then also make sure that that mark looks about center on here. I could also pop this up on dimensionals, but most of my cards are mailed, and I don't want to get too dimensional happy because I want to be able to make sure things get through without having to be go through a special sorting process or being hand canceled. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the other panels. Okay, and this one, I'll probably put them maybe just about 1/8 of an inch apart, gap-wise. That looks pretty good. Okay, and then this one. And just try and do the same amount of space in between. Just mimic this space. All right. And then over here, I'm just going to trim off the ends on an angle. I think this one can be a bit shorter. All right. And then I'll take my eraser, get rid of that little mark. And then we need a greeting for this card, and I need congratulations cards. I wasn't sure if I should do pool party or white, so I cut some different panels, and I wanted to see, because my original piece, or my original card, I actually went slightly lighter here, so I don't know, pool party or white. I'm going to stamp, I think I'll do white. Let me stamp one and let's see how it looks. I'm going to do one in Mossy Meadow. And I've got my congratulations angled on a C block. We do have a long skinny block, but I find it very hard because there's a little bit of distortion on the edges. So sometimes when I'm trying to stamp on there, I can't really see very well where the paper is to make sure that it's centered on my piece. So let's go ahead and punch this first because that will make it a little easier. So I'll just take my little piece and put it in my Banners Pick a Punch. Oh, needs to go all the way to the end. And I'm going to use the pointy, and I usually use the banner end, but this time I'm going to use this one. Let me do this one too, and then we'll see if I like pool party better or white. I've gone through a stage where I use a lot of white in my card making rather than doing dark backgrounds, And I think that stems from when I was first stamping, we tended to use like a darker card base. So now I always tend to go for the lighter ones. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to stamp this one in green. Maybe I should just go for blue or Coastal Cabana. I don't know. I usually, like, sometimes I end up stamping. Okay, well that looks nice and pretty. So if I was doing this one though, I don't know if I want green on the blue. Let's see, maybe I'll go with, let's do Bermuda Bay because it's like a darker version. I'm gonna clean this off on my chamois off camera here. If you don't have a chamois, you need to get one. My chamois is like kind of dirty, so it's kind of gross to look at, but it really cleans off your stamp well in between using colors, and you don't use any chemicals or anything like that. It's just tap water, so it's kind of nice. And I just wet it each day. I let it dry out because if you keep it enclosed, it can tend to mildew a little bit. So let me stamp this down on here. So I don't know. I like the blue as well. So what do you think? Shall I do blue or shall I do the white label? Pool Party or white? I don't know. I like both of them. Both of them look fine. I don't know. Pool Party or white? What say you? I don't know. If I had to pick, I probably would go white just because I'm a neutral sort of girl. Okay, I've got one Pool Party. Nancy D wants Pool Party. Nancy wants white. Okay, I need a tiebreaker here. White. Okay, we're gonna do white, I guess. Unless I'll leave it up for a few more seconds and we'll see if we get any more responses. See what we'll do. Okay, it looks like we have 3 whites. I don't know, I like both of them, but let's go with the white. So I'll put Tombow on the back of here. And I'm just gonna add it just right along the ribbon, and you could center this, but I'm not going to because everything else is centered. So the ribbon is a little bit towards the bottom half of the card. And I also want my greeting not to be exactly centered. All right. So now I have some of these gilded gems. It's nice. Metallics are nice because they're fairly neutral, right? And so I kind of like having a neutral on here, right? So let's grab, there's small, medium, and large. So let's grab a medium one and we'll put it right here on the card. I've kind of created a bit of a pattern. We'll take a small one and let's put it, I don't know, here, trying to find a logical space to put it on the card. Let's put it I kind of wanted it in a gappy space, but I think I'm going to put it right there. There, I just stuck it down. And then we'll take a big one and I'm going to put it right there. Sometimes there's just a good spot to put it down on the pattern and sometimes there isn't. But I kind of like the pattern of the 3 different sizes. And now you can kind of see when you pick up the card and you can see the little bit of sparkle and it just adds a little bit something, but it doesn't detract from the card. It just adds a little shine and glimmer to the card. So there are the 2 cards, and can you just imagine how pretty it would be taking some of the other patterns of this paper and, you know, just matching ribbon and just having fun with that. You know, now that I see this, I kind of want to make this greeting white as well. I wonder how that would look. Let's do that. I'm curious to see if I would like the white greeting as well, because now I'm thinking that I went a little dark. Okay, I've got another piece here, so let's go ahead and punch this. It's always fun to go back and see what little changes you could make to a card. And I think I'll go ahead and I'll do Mossy Meadow as well. Clean off my congratulations stamp because it was lately in Bermuda Bay. Okay, and then let's ink this up. Let's fix my other card, right? While we're at it. Okay, now we can see what we like better. All right, let's put this on here. And of course, I'm gonna just kind of cover this up. Well, it definitely pops the greeting a lot more. So I actually kind of like it because it definitely gives a different feel to the card, right? This one's kind of, you know, I like both of them. This one kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a little bit darker card, but immediately when you stick this on here, it like brightens it up a little bit. So I guess I could choose which one to do. I don't know. What do you think? White or Old Olive? Which one do you like better? White or Old Olive? I don't know. It's fun. So those are the two cards with the Fine Art Floral paper. And then this one's just the fun card that I did with Hippo Happiness. So you can see you can have a lot of fun with this layout and, you know, just make a card, just cutting apart those little panels, and it just makes it really pretty. Now, say you had different panels of paper, leftover scraps, you could do that too. You could do 3 different scraps of paper or 3 different panels of, you know, you could stamp things on 3 different colors, background colors of cardstock. So you could definitely do a lot of different things with this particular layout. All right, I'm coming back over to you guys. I'm going to read your comments. I'm going back. Okay, so everyone likes the white label. I may need to change that out on my card afterwards. I didn't glue it down. So that's really interesting. It's neat how you can go back and see one card and then you're like, ooh, yeah, I really like the white look. But, you know, it's neat to kind of, you know, go through the kind of a thought process and just have fun with it, and then just not always worry about having it 100% perfect. But then if you see something that you can change, you can always go back and change it. So I'm just going to say good morning to everyone. Good morning, Dee and Amy and Karen and Deborah. So good to see you. Do you like the tip about backing up the cardstock? Sometimes it's a good thing to like give your designer series paper a little bit more stability, because I didn't want on these cards, I didn't want it to be like really light and flimsy going over top of that piece of cardstock. And the other thing is, say you wanted to pop up those panels on dimensionals, then I really feel like if you wanted to pop them up, which you really could have on this piece, say you're handing this card out in person, I would have really thought that backing it up would have given those designer series panels a lot more stability. So definitely think about doing that if you have, you know, dimensionals involved. Oh, Kimberly says she has to get a centering ruler. Yes, the centering ruler is a great thing. This one right here, this is an Omni grip ruler. It's a 12-inch Omni grip ruler. It's perfect size. A lot of Omni grips are for quilting. And so this one's a little bit harder to find. It's a 12-inch, one side's the centering and the other's a regular one. I really like using this ruler. It's been really helpful for a lot of different things that I do. It has a little bit different of an edge than a traditional ruler. Like it has an 1/8 of an inch. It doesn't taper. So it's a different type of ruler to have in your arsenal. I have probably close to 10 rulers. I'm crazy. I love my rulers. When I go into, okay, so this is just a weird thing about me. When I go into a craft store, I haven't been into one in a long time because pretty much I just use Stampin' Up stuff. But if I do go into one, I like to go to the drafting supplies section. I always end up in there. I love drafting tools, even though I never ever, like, I didn't do architecture, I didn't do art, I didn't even get in that realm. But I find the drafting section fascinating. I love that section. I'm always looking to see if they have a new tool, a new compass, I don't know. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but that section really just makes me happy. Yeah, 10 rulers. Can you believe that? That's crazy, right? But they're different sizes, and I've got a wooden one, and I've got a plastic one, I got a tea ruler. You know, they're all different. They have different uses, right? So anyway, kind of fun. Dee says she loves the springy colors for this card. Yeah, it would make a sweet Mother's Day card. Too bad I already mailed off the Mother's Day cards because they have to go to Canada. My husband's mom, my mother-in-law, she lives in Canada, and so does my mom. They don't live close to each other, though. They live like pretty far apart. They live provinces apart. And yeah, I already sent them off this week because, yeah, it's just they won't get there. They might still not get there. That's the problem, right? So I really found it interesting. Thank you so much for everyone helping me with the picking out the colors of my labels. Thank you for that. Do you like the little gold, these little gems that I put on here? The gilded gems. They are a very nice addition to, because the metallic, it just blends in with almost everything. All right. Dee says, on the butterfly card, did you stamp the butterflies in black memento and then color them with blends? Or did you stamp them in colors? That's a really great question. I love your questions, Dee. So it looks like I stamped it in black, but I actually stamped them in Gorgeous Grape. And then there's another, it's a 2-step stamp. So the outline I stamped in Gorgeous Grape, and the inside was stamped with Saffron. So it was kind of, I didn't have to color with blends or anything. So that's another consideration if you're going to do a big panel like this. You might want to use stamps that you don't have to color, otherwise you might be coloring for a while. This little pattern, it took me a couple minutes to produce, but it was pretty fast because I didn't have to, it was inking and stamping and no coloring at all. So that's a great question. Good morning, Cindy. I'm so glad you like the cards. Kimberly says she has 4 rulers and she thought she had a lot. Yeah, I beat you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't, it's not a contest, but I do love rulers. It's kind of a funny thing. I don't know that too many people out there love rulers and drafting tools as much as me, especially since I'm not in that area at all. But it does help me if I'm creating boxes and things like that. Those tools really do help me. I also really like to draw my own templates, but lately instead of drawing templates, I tend to want to use like the scoring tool so that I don't have to give anyone a template. I can just tell you how to do it and you don't need to have a PDF or anything like that. But I used to draw templates. I found drawing templates fascinating. Yeah. Okay, Dee. I agree with you on the drafting tools. I think as crafters, we are actually architects at heart. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, I think, paper crafters, we can definitely, have different aspects that we draw from, like architecture and mathematics too, like geometry. And, I think growing up, I didn't really think math, like it didn't really have a purpose to me. And I think if I was knew that I was solving a problem that was important to me and I knew I needed the math for it, I think it would have made so much more sense to me. So, but I just never had that kind of connection. And I wish someone had said to me, you could really use math to make your life easier. So, but now I'm learning kind of through practical means how to do some things, maybe not higher level math, but at least the geometry and the basic math is certainly coming in a lot more handy to me now. All right, guys. I have coming up this week on Friday. I will be making. I know this already. I haven't made it yet, but I know I'm going to be making a box with the Hippo and Friends dies. The Hippo and Friends dies. Where are they? They are across the room. They are under something probably. Yeah, I'm grabbing them. Okay. So the Hippo and Friends dies are not just about hippos. They have a lot of labels on them. And so last week I did a little box with these bottom labels right here, and I said that I'm going to make boxes with the other sets of labels. And so I'm going to do that. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do this one or this one, but I will decide that soon. And I will make a box for you, and I'm going to share that on my Friday YouTube live. So make sure you join me live if you want to, and I will definitely have the replay afterwards and the project sheet. So that's 10 a.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel if you want to join me for that. Any of the supplies I talked about today are on my blog, and if you would like to make my card and you need supplies to do that, please click on over there, and it makes it really easy just to click on the little photo and you can go right to the Stampin' Up store, or even easier yet, click on the add all to cart, because when you do that, it adds everything that in my supply list to your cart. And then you can just go and X out the ones you don't need. I think it makes it a little easier if you do it that way. That's why I have that button. I've been adding that now for a few months. So it's usually, I always color that button differently. So it might be a different color today than you're used to seeing. It's just a bright color to click on at the top of my supply list. And I also have a host code gift of the month. Don't forget, we just have a few days left of April if you want to get some of those in color gems. If you spend $50 or more with me this month, I will send those out to you in May. They are not available for purchase yet. I'm going to be ordering them on May 4th when the new catalog goes live. Can you believe it? Just one more week. Next Tuesday, we'll have a new annual catalog. And if you don't already know this, there are still some really good deals on the retiring page. The only problem is it's kind of we've kind of got to wade through a lot of stuff in order to get there. So if you sort that page by price lowest to high, you can find the best deals. Look for the little sale flags. They will always come up first, like the things under $10 will come up first. Then something weird went on with the search, and a lot of the bundles came up as well. But if you skip over that bundle section, then the other lower price stuff comes back up, and you'll see some really amazing deals on ribbon embellishments, embossing folders. There's some Stampin' Blends on there. So there's still some really good deals to be had. We have our clearance rack, and that got cleaned out really quickly, but people don't realize there's still a lot of good deals on the retirement list. I would just sort it by lowest to highest. That's a little tip for you. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great week. Did you guys get your taxes done? I have not gotten my taxes done, so I'll be working on that this week. Our tax deadline got extended, so I'm still working on that. I know, I wish I could get it sooner. It's also like my business bookkeeping and everything that keeps me from moving faster. I should be doing that throughout the year. But anyway, that will be my fun stuff. I hope you guys have gotten it all done, and I'm like one of the last. All right, you guys have a great week, and I will see you on Friday. Bye bye.